Hey everybody, it's Diana. I'm here today to just kind of do a little July wrap-up video and show you all the books that I read. 12 books this month. I can't believe it. So, I'm not going to take a lot of time to talk about each of the books I read, since most of these books I will later go back and do a full review. I had a really great reading month, not just on the amount of books I read, but the quantity of the books that I read. There was not a book that I disliked. I enjoyed my reads. I decided to theme this month because it was the anniversary of the moon landing, and I thought, what better month than to have a month filled with space books. So I read a lot of space books. Last month I ended up reading the Illuminae series. The first book, I shouldn't say series, I ended up just reading book number 1, Illuminae. And I fell in love with it. I used the audiobook and I fell in love with it. I ended up having to get the book myself. I'm in the process of getting the collection because I loved it so much. So this month I was able to get Gemina and I listened to it. And I got the book so I could see, like, because it's a visual book too. You really need to kind of visualize a lot of things on there. They got such cool things. And just look at how unique this book cover is. This series is by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, and those two authors, when they come together and write a book, oh my goodness, they do it flawlessly. These are amazing books. I highly recommend them. I was not expecting to be as emotionally invested in this series as I got. In fact, I didn't expect to like this series at all. You can see some of the format that it is written. I just didn't think this was going to be something I was going to enjoy or that was going to tell a really meaningful story. Boy, was I wrong, and I am glad that I was wrong. There's been so many positive reviews on this series. I didn't get what the hype was about, but I will give things a chance. So I finally gave it a chance, and oh, I'm so glad I did. So I just can't say enough good things about this series, so definitely check it out. So I got to do Gemina and Obsidio. I listened to them both. I'm still waiting for book 3 to come in because I had to space out my purchases. The other book that I read this month was Midnight Beauties by Megan Shepherd. It's the book number 2 to Grimm Lovelies, and I was given that e-arc off NetGalley for review. That book really, I enjoyed Grimm Lovelies when I read it. I did enjoy it. It was a little slow at first, but by the end of the book I was invested in these characters, and I definitely wanted to know more, so I was excited to start book 2 because I figured, all the introductions are over, which we'll just get in the story and go. And I'll say that I really did like Midnight Beauties a lot more than Grimm Lovelies, and it's not that I didn't like Grimm Lovelies. I like Grimm Lovelies, please don't get the wrong idea. It was really just very well written. I was invested in these characters, and I'm eager to see where Megan Shepherd takes Shepherd. I'm eager to see where she takes this story. Aurora Rising was another book that I read, again by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. Obviously, I was on a roll with these authors, but this was another book to go with my space theme, and it was the book of the month for my Facebook book club, which I will link down below if you want to check that out. Every month we make suggestions and then vote on a book, and we pick our top book. And last month I decided to go with the space theme since I was already in that theme, so we all suggested different space themed books, and this was the top book. Great book, such depth in all of the characters, in the story. So many emotions were involved in reading this book, and I'm sure in writing the book the authors had to have had just as many emotions. And this is kind of my fun book that I did where I decorated it. So I did like a space background, and then I wrote Squad 312 on it because I just decided to take it a step further. Star by Jennifer L. Armentrout. She wrote the Lux series, and this is a continuation of the Lux series from one of the characters that is in the Lux series, and you see some little cameo appearances of other characters that were in the Lux series. I love the Lux series. I've read it a couple times now because I like it so much. And I reread the series a couple months ago. I kind of slowly worked my way through it. So I've been eagerly awaiting for The Darkest Star, so it was perfect time to read it. I know it didn't take place in Earth so much, the story, but it was definitely aliens and other beings, so I thought it would fit in perfectly. Definitely something I recommend. I recommend the Lux series along with this continuation of the Lux series. It's not, you don't have to have read the Lux series to read this. It's just like a side character. The story continues for that side character. And I love the Lux series so much, and I thought the book was so pretty that I went ahead and added some decorations to this one. And then to continue my space theme, I went with the Cerulean by Amy Ewing. Really enjoyed this book. She's a great writer. It's weird, on Goodreads, this has a lot of lower ratings. Nothing bad, just kind of like a mediocre rating, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was full of depth, and the characters were really just really deep characters. There was a lot to them. They weren't just 2D, they were 3D, 4D characters. I just like the original story that she wrote in it, so this is definitely a book and a series to check out. I also got the opportunity throughout the month, and it actually started last month, the month before. I don't even remember how long ago it started. It was also beta reading for The Legends of Eve, book number 2. And he finished writing it this month, so I got to finish reading that. That book is amazing. If you guys like the first book, you're going to absolutely adore the book 2. It is amazing. He definitely outdid himself on book 2. And I will have a full review dedicated to that. Another one I read this month was Star-Crossed by Pintip Dunn. I love this book. It's so sweet, so amazing, such a unique concept. These characters live on this planet, and only a few of the select people who have special DNA or whatever it is, they get to eat real food, and then by eating real food, they extract the nutrients from their body to make pills for the rest of the colony, the people, to live off of. And those who are selected to eat food, they have a shorter lifespan. It's like significantly 40, 60 years, something like that. It is dropped and made shorter, while the ones on the pill get to have a nice, long, normal, healthy life. Except for the king. The king, every 5, 6 years, something like that. I think it's every 5 years. Or maybe 7. I can't remember. Anyways, every so often, they have a contest for the fittest person to win, and the fittest person of the colony is then, he is basically killed, and they harvest his organs to give to the king so he can keep living longer than he's supposed to. And of course there's a romance brewing, a friendship brewing, there's best friend friendships, there's romantic relationships, there's questioning the way of the world and if it's the right way to be. Just so many things in this book that are just so totally amazing, and I will definitely have a full review of this book up because it is so good. And I mean, look at that gorgeous cover. This is one that I think I'm going to have to paint and just make it even more spectacular. Another book that I read this month was a series that I have been reading through since October, really. And it's the Spells and Caramel series, book number 9 by Erin Johnson. These books are really easy to read, and I could have just read through them all in one sitting, probably in like a week. I probably could have read them all. They're really easy, only like 4-hour reads, like 4 hours of total read time. But I've been kind of splitting them up because I really enjoy them, and so I've been kind of making them last for a lot longer. And I'm on book 9, and there's one more book left of the series, and Erin Johnson has actually started writing a new series. But I've got book 9, and that book, is really just as enjoyable as the rest. There's always this mystery in there, and you get to watch the characters and friendships develop more, and then you always have this, you know, what's going on, it seems like this is happening, but maybe it's this, and just really cool how the author weaves this story together. Another book that I read is This Splintered Silence. I have had this book sitting on my shelf for a while. When this book was released, there was a book signing with Kayla Olson and Stephanie Garber. So it was within distance, a reasonable distance, so my besties and I went and got to meet her and get the book signed, and we picked it up. And so it's been sitting there, see, we got to go meet her. So it's been sitting on my shelf since then. I also got the Sandcastle Empire on that day. And I read that a couple months ago and I loved it, so I've been really looking forward to this, but I've been saving it specifically for this month, for my space month. And this is such a cute little story about a girl on a spaceship, trapped on a space shuttle basically, where there's a virus that has been killing off all of the adults, and there's just a bunch of teens left, and suddenly she finds herself in charge, and there's still people dying even though they are supposed to be immune from the virus. They were the few that the young generation had been had developed an immunity to this virus, yet there are people dying, and it looks like it's the virus coming back, and so they're trying to figure out what to do because they don't want to go infect more people, so they can't go looking for help. Just really cool story. Definitely highly recommend it. Anything by Kayla Olson is good. She, not only are her books awesome, but she's really awesome. Another book that I did was The Wicked Deep, and look at how beautiful that cover is. I still cannot do justice to it on this video. But Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw. I've had this on my TBR for a while, but I've definitely moved it up, so didn't quite fit my space theme. But I wanted to move it up because in September she is going to be at Adrienne Young's book signing near me, and so I wanted to be able to have read it and know that I like it so that I can go have her sign it when I meet her. So I am really excited. What a unique story this is about three sisters and a curse on an island, and a young girl and a young boy who have gotten mixed up into this curse. Just a really unique story. Definitely something worth reading. Well, very well done. And I will have a review on that. And then the last book that I read, I got it in at about 10 o'clock on the last day of July. So it's still a July read, just barely. Was The Girl the Sea Gave Back by Adrienne Young. And oh my goodness. I don't know if you guys have read Sky in the Deep. If you haven't, definitely a book that I will highly recommend. Definitely a book that I highly recommend. Adrienne Young has a way with words that is amazing to read, and The Girl the Sea Gave Back did not disappoint. I had super high expectations because Sky was so amazing, which worried me because sometimes you have high expectations, they don't get met because they're too high, but Adrienne Young met my expectations and went beyond them. Great story. I will have a full review of that coming shortly, so make sure to watch for that. That book was amazing. I love it. You should love it. Put it on your list. Get it when it comes out, September 3rd, I believe. So yes, definitely a book that I highly recommend. That is my July wrap up. 12 books this month. I cannot believe it. Just woo! Sorry, it's not the top amount that I've read. I looked back in March, I got 13 books. However, I think my 13 books in March were smaller books, which is why I got 13 books. But yeah, 12 books for summer. It probably helped that I was sick a lot. My husband took over kid duty, so I couldn't do anything except for read. But hey, take what you can get. So that is it. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to make sure to catch more videos like the reviews that I'm going to have for the books that I just talked about here, make sure that you subscribe and make sure you click that bell icon so you always get alerted when there's a new video. So thanks for taking time to stop by, and if you guys read any of these books or you're thinking about reading any of these books, let me know down below. I'd love to hear from you. So talk to you later. Bye.